All right, section 6.4. I can tell you beyond a shadow of a doubt that this occurs somewhere in 7th grade. Any idea why I know?
You have 7th graders right now.
Have 7th graders right now, one of whom really does not like proportions. All right, so we've been doing some proportions at home, and I will tell you also that I have a husband who does not think of anything that we're doing in this section as proportions, which compounds the problem. Because he's showing my son the other way to do things, which is not wrong, it's just not what they're learning right now, and there's friction in the home. So, beware, you will have parents, and they won't all necessarily readily jump on board. Ratios, we'll start with ratios. Ratio notation has a couple of notations. It's written A colon B, or the fraction A over B. We read this, or we say it as A to B. I've used a little bit of the next language, this part to part, part to whole language back in section 6.1. A part to part versus a part to whole ratio description talks about how we compare things. So here's an example. We have 15 students, 7 of them make an A on a test. So the part to whole ratio is 7 to 15. 7 out of 15 students made an A on a test. That's one way to think about it. The part-to-part ratio considers the 7 who made the A compared to the 8 that didn't, and that's a part-to-part ratio, okay? So the whole is 15, and then we're either breaking it into 2 parts that we're comparing, or we're comparing one part to the whole. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to do an example with part-to-part and part-to-whole ratios. So the ratio of boys to girls in a class is 2 to 3. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, it means that there are 2 boys for every 3 girls. That's really what it means, right? What it wants us to find is the ratio of boys to the whole class. So if there are 2 boys for every 3 girls, then there are also 2 boys for every how many students? 5, right? Because if I took the 2 boys, I took the 3 girls, think about like making a group of them, right? Now they're in a group of 5 together, right? And the number of boys in the group is 2, the number of people in the group is 5. So the ratio of boys to the whole class is 2 to 5, or if you prefer, you can write it as 2 to 5 like that. Okay, we can also go the other direction, right? This one started out with a part to part, and we created a part to whole. We can also start out with a part to whole comparison and figure out the part to part. So if 3/7 of the class is girls or are girls, then what is the ratio of boys to girls? So do notice that they started talking about girls and then they changed it to boys to girls, not girls to boys on the wording. So again, pay attention to the wording of the questions. But this means that I have 3 girls for every 7 students. That's what 3/7 means. But of those 7 students, how many of them are girls? 3. So how many of them are boys? 4. So for every 3 girls, we have 4 boys, or vice versa. So what is my boys to girls ratio? 4 to 3. Or we can write it like this, 4 to 3. Okay, any questions on those differentiations? Okay, we'll push pause right there and we'll jump back in with proportions next time.